Readipop, music changing lives.
Hello, welcome to another Music Changing Lives podcast here at Readipop. I'm Harrison, and I'm joined with a very special guest who has been on podcasts before, has been on meetups, but now we're just solely talking about Abbie Hill. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Woo.
So, for people that don't know, Abbie is leaving Readipop soon. Mm-hmm. Will be becoming a freelancer for a little while, but do you want to just talk about where you're going?
Yeah, I am moving out of Reading. I'm moving to Brighton with my partner. It's kind of always been the plan, and my partner got an opportunity down in Brighton, so we're doing a move there. So sadly, that means I have to leave Readipop.
Yeah.
But
I'm heartbroken.
Me too.
So, yeah, we thought that we'd do a little rundown on your story. I don't know if anyone listened to the one where we had Kay Kane on, where we went through his journey from being a participant to then being on Riser. We thought we'd just summarise your time at Readipop before you go. This may be your last podcast, so let's make the most of it.
I've got to remember everything.
Right, so let's go to the very start. I know you've done this a few times and spoke about your beginning, but just for one last time, do you want to say about how you first got involved with Readipop?
This is actually really sad. I didn't think it would be this.
Cry?
No, I'm not going to cry, but like, oh, it's mad. Sorry, what was your question?
So how did you first get involved with Readipop? Let's like all the way.
Okay.
Very start.
So when I was about 16, I was studying music technology in Farnborough, and part of my course meant that I had to do work experience. So I say but my dad emailed.
Wait, I never knew this bit.
Yeah, no, I did. I told my parents I had to do work experience. And then I came home from like college, and my dad was like, "I've emailed every musical thing in Reading," and he was like, "I found a really good one called Readipop." He was like, "That's the one I think you should do." Yeah, he emailed Readipop for me, and Amy, who worked here at the time, responded and said, "Yeah, we do work experience. Abbie, come down." So I did, and did work experience for, I think it was about 2 weeks, sort of like office junior stuff, like flyering. I did a lot of flyering, and I did a few workshops in schools, which I really loved as well. And then in my second week, it was the weekend, like the week of the festival, leading up to the festival, which I didn't even know at the time. And I remember like being sat in the office with Amy, and she was like, "Oh, we need another music technician for like support at the festival." And then she was like, "Wait a minute, you are studying music technology?" And I was like, "Yes, but I'm in my first year and I don't know."
Yeah, I would have been absolutely terrified.
But like I was just like, "Yes, I do." And she was like, "Cool, you can come and help. It's just like supporting one of the stages. You'll just be a runner basically." And I was like, "Okay, cool, I can do that." And then when it got to the actual festival, I rocked up. I brought one of my friends as well, for like extra support. And the lead like technician there was like, just sort of like ran off for the day. He was like, "Yeah, it's set up. You guys do it." He clearly thought that we were like meant to be in charge.
Yeah.
Which like we were like, okay, let's just do it. But then like the whole of the festival, I ended up just like doing the live sound for like the second stage at Readipop Festival. Which, like, looking back on it as like 16-year-old who had just learned how to, like, I feel like 2 weeks before I just learned how to set up a PA. So I was like, okay, yeah, cool, I'll do this. But it helped me so much because it threw me in the deep end, which I feel like you have to do in music. You have to just do it. It's not about like, it is about learning it, but you just have to be part of the atmosphere, like be quick on your feet. And Readipop at that age taught me how to do that. So yeah, after that, I kind of like lost contact with Readipop.
Hang on, just quickly, was it Readipop Festival by that point, or was it still Caversham Festival?
I think it was the first year of becoming Readipop Festival.
Cool. Sorry, carry on.
I think I did it again the second year, but that time I was actually a runner. So, because Amy was just like, "Yeah, come back. Like, we need volunteers, we need helpers." And then I went off to university to study music production. So, yeah, definitely doing that work experience definitely like made me sure that like technology side of music was something I wanted to do, the production side, the live event side. So I went and studied music production in Southampton, did that for 3 years, became a live sound engineer as well for like pub gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, did like touring around pubs.
Did it sound better than the first time you did Readipop Festival? Or?
Yeah, I definitely like.
Or did you smash your first go?
I can't remember most of it. Like I just remember being like, yeah, I can hear a band, so it must be working, and like no one complained.
Yeah, that's all right.
So that was really good. And then after university, it was 2020. So I came home during the pandemic. Was looking for a job in music. Got an interview for a school. It was Little Heath School. I think you've heard of it before.
Shout out, yeah.
Yeah.
Great school.
That's Harrison's old school.
I went to school at Little Heath.
Yeah, so I was the music technician there for I think it was an academic year. And then I just, I hate this part of the story, but I was actually like Googling like music leader jobs for a student. For a student of mine, sort of helping them with work experience. I always
forget this bit as well.
Because he wanted to do work experience, so I was like, oh, check out Readipop.
Yeah.
So I was looking at Readipop and I was like, oh, they've got a music leader position. And I was like, oh, I'll just apply for that. That'll be, why not? And I think I just emailed Amy directly because she knew me. Well, I hoped she'd remembered me, and she did. And she was like, hi, Abbie, yes, you have to come in for an interview for a music leader. That'll be great. And then I was like, awesome. And then a few weeks later, I had an interview with Amy and Gavin, who at the time they told me it wasn't an interview, but I found out that it is. And they were like, oh, yeah, well, your experience looks really good. We actually think that you could be more of a full-time member here. We've sort of been building this role of a studio coordinator. We think you'd be perfect for it. And then, I was like, cool, yeah, I'll take it if it's available. And they were like, yeah, cool, you can start in the September. So I did a few youth clubs.
I'd like to state that you did a few youth clubs with me. I started like a couple months after Abbie started, and I remember meeting her, and she has no idea about when she first met me.
Well, I thought I met you at the training day because Readipop put on a big training day for like all of the freelancers that they were employing, and then I was part of that as well.
I think we'd done about 5 sessions together.
What, like youth clubs? Yeah, but there was also like lots of other people that were starting.
No, it's fair enough.
Like there was another guy that started at the same time, and I think I got you two confused. But I do remember like spending most of the training day with you. I feel like we hung out quite a lot on that day.
Yeah.
So I remembered you out of that as well. So yeah, then I started full time in the September, and then you started too, and then the team built from there.
Yeah, I don't know Readipop without you. It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
so it's going to be weird.
To be honest, I don't, even though you said that I don't remember when you were around, I don't really remember it without you either.
Yeah. So you were freelance, or not freelance for a little bit, but you're doing little bits and bobs. Mm-hmm. Then you became full-time.
Yep.
So how has your position evolved? So let's break it down. So we do multiple different things here at Readipop. Mm-hmm. So you've mentioned the youth club. Let's start with AAA.
Yeah.
How's it sort of evolved from when you first started in your role? Not as the project massively.
Yeah.
But how's it evolved from first starting to now?
Okay. Like how I've like changed in that.
Yeah.
So when I came in, I was studio coordinator. Part of that was a music leader. Mm-hmm. So that was running one-to-one sessions, running the youth clubs, but almost running the youth clubs as an assistant, because it was like shadowing, getting to know the role. Mm-hmm. And then outreach workshops as well. So going and doing samba and djembe in different schools like we do. And that was, I still do that now, but I have more sort of control over the planning that goes into that as well. So one of our outreach workshops that we run at the Weller Centre, I'm now in charge of, well, I'm not anymore, but I was in charge of sort of organising them, making sure that if like you or me couldn't attend it, that a staff member was there to cover. I have more communication, not like solely, but some communication with the teachers in the schools as well. More direction over the planning of how the program would run in discussion with Louise, who is in charge of the education program. But contribute more to the long-term plans of the education program rather than just showing up and doing them. Yeah. And we plan a lot more.
Yeah.
That actually happens rather than just being told what happens.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more of us getting involved in deciding things.
And training new music leaders when they come as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's that. There's also, obviously you've done some releases with Riser. Mm-hmm. How did you first get in with Riser? Where you, because you don't really do much with Riser now. Not so much, do you?
Not now, because like the project has come has sort of come to an end in terms of the musicians we were working with. But when I started the job, Amy and Gavin told me that a huge part of my role would be in Riser, because Riser was just starting, and they were like, we need a producer, an in-house producer who's going to come and do some of the sessions here. They didn't tell me how many of those sessions I would be doing, but I'm glad that I did them. So I worked with K. Kane, produced all of his songs. I produced 2 of the tracks on Hat's album that will be coming out. I worked with Crystal, who released 2 tracks on Riser.
Abbie Hill.
Abbie Hill.
Yeah,
That's
stage
it.
name.
Sorry.
That's all right.
And I think that's it.
Do you reckon I knew I should have prepared something else while I was doing this? Do you reckon you could list the songs you've worked on?
Yeah.
Just to test you.
Okay. The thing is, if I forget a song, whoever artist that is, they're going to be like, what?
That's all right. That's for the comment section.
Okay. Okay. So, K. Kane, Loco, All Alone, Wine, Never Sober, Hold Me Close. Is there one more?
I don't know. I just want to test your brain.
I think that's all of them. There might be one more that I've forgotten, but I think that's all of them. Writing Stage, Hats, Forest Floor, and Just Like This, and Amure. This was years ago. What were her songs called? Never Meant to Be, and there was another one that I've forgotten what it was called.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
On the video, I'll put it out
there was another one. Put it in.
So yeah, you've done that. You've touched on. We've done quite a few events together as well, and you've done quite a few events. So we've done the meetups together. Done that. So obviously you're thrown straight in the deep end with the events. How has that evolved as well for you?
I mean that is one that hasn't really changed, because I was told that I was going to be the head live sound engineer. Based on the fact that they were like, well, you've done a festival, so that's the biggest event that we put on, so just do the same. I guess the only thing is I'm not just the live sound engineer, because I'm the studio coordinator. It's making sure that all the equipment we use is also ready to go, to go to these events. So it's like live sound engineer, but also like the coordinator of the live aspects of the events as well. If we do our Hoostananny at Fountain Brewery, or the festival, or the meetups, or any other events that we do, but like from here as well, if we do a Princess Trust, making sure that there's a PA set up for our young people to perform as well.
I think we've got it down now, and I can just steal all your ideas from this point. So we touched on how you first worked in a school. Obviously we're not school, but we do a lot of educational sort of stuff. How are you different from your school time to now? Like, how would you work with a young person that's different? Yeah, when I left uni, I knew I wanted to work in music with young people, which at the time I obviously knew about Readipop, but I didn't really know about like music mentoring. It wasn't really a thing on my radar. I don't think it's really a thing that many people think
No,
of,
I think it's becoming more popular now, but at the time I didn't really know it was a thing. So I just thought, working with young people in music, schools, sure. I worked with like the inclusion department, which meant that I was doing sort of one-to-one in classroom with like SEN students, which was something I wanted to do. I wanted to do like music and mental health. So that was great. But the only thing was, when you're in a school, everything is to a curriculum. So, there is an aspect of a young person or a student being creative, but knowing that they have to hit all the marks of a curriculum. And I wasn't a fan of that. There's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what I thought music was going to help young people with, or how I wanted to. So when I sort of, again, like applied for Readipop, looked into what they did, and when I started and they told me about the way that they do mentoring sessions with music, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like the first thing they said is it's not even about the music, it's about young people expressing themselves and getting the opportunity to, speak the language of music, and it's not tested, it's not anything. And I was like, this is great, I love it. And then I think just through learning from like Will, who was a music leader when I started, I shadowed him a lot. Through you as well, the way that we bounce off each other, we do our sessions so differently, but it all comes to the same thing. We get the same outcomes. I think I've just developed a mentoring style that works for me and one that I want to now take forward as I leave here as well.
I think there was one stage where I think we both hit a wall because we were trying to do too much music, and then we both got told like it literally does not matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, is that because there isn't a curriculum like you touched on, you're able to mold whatever you're doing, whether it's an outreach workshop or the one-to-ones, to benefit that young person the most.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most beneficial. Like we'll go to a school and do a workshop, and we just do what we do.
Yeah.
It's like natural.
Yeah.
And then you almost feel like the teachers are almost blown away by it, because it's like, oh, you've managed to engage that young person that never gets engaged.
Yeah. And then sometimes we get teachers who like don't understand, like when they're like, oh, but they need to do this, and we're like, it's not about the music, doesn't matter, it's fine. Or even when our young people are like, but it's not gonna, like the ones that go to school and then think that this is gonna be like school, and we're like, it really doesn't matter if you don't want to do anything today, that's absolutely fine.
But I think
like,
that's also like beneficial though, because I think because you're in that musical space subconsciously, even though if you're not doing something music, they might not do something that week,
but it's still something creative.
It's something creative, and then within a few weeks they'll end up touching or wanting to do something. And
it's just taking the pressure off, isn't it? It's like when you have no pressure, the best things come out, especially in music as well. And I was thinking about it the other day, actually, like our sort of like mentoring styles, and the fact that I feel like we've developed it like learning an instrument. Like the fact that like we'll have a first session with a young person, and then we'll instantly know what we need to do that's going to benefit that young person. Like we just have I feel like we both have in our brains, like, or we can discuss it and be like, you add a similar young person to this, what works for them? And you know, in our education meetings, we have sort of like a precedent that we set. And now as new music leaders come in, we can show them that, but still say, but make it your own, do it your own way.
Yeah, it's that learning your own, getting that own experience of yourself and knowing what works for you and stuff like that. That's the way it works.
But then also remembering it's not about the music, because you're right, we were both so eager to impress with musical skills that we were like, oh, they can just come and like chill and chat with us? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and then it's like almost because we were more relieved by it, that it worked out, because it was like, oh, thank God. Anyway, so moving on. So we've talked on this. Is there anything in your time at Readipop that has impacted you the most? I don't know whether this is like a young person in particular, or a certain thing that pops to mind that's really impacted you going forward.
I think I've got two different things. I've got like as a musician and a producer, riser, definitely, because the artists that have come to us, like it's been a journey that I've gone through with them, and it's sort of I've worked with musicians before, but writing a whole album or like working on an EP, just seeing the end product of it and the journey of each different song and understanding the perspective of the artist, and that it's just taught me I've almost used my mentoring skills that I've learned from my one-to-ones and placed them in myself as a producer, and making sure the environment is still as comfortable as I would make it in a one-to-one, but it's just a bit more focused on the music. So riser in that respect.
That's a really, sorry to interrupt you, but have you found that work with your own production, like with your clients? Yeah,
because I work sort of independently with an artist at the moment who's come through Readipop, but now we work independently together. I'll it's all I've ever really known is like this studio, this environment of producing, and so it's actually going to be weird doing it in another environment and being like, oh, I'm still going to use my like Readipop precedent, like the way I mentor and the way I produce. So that it's definitely helped in that.
I think it also benefits with like when I've jammed with other musicians that have nothing to do with Readipop, I can't help myself think like a music leader.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like the annoying drummer. It's like I know how to talk to them, whereas before I would have like got annoyed and walked out the room or something.
I think it's when you realise that in our youth club, our kids are easier to work with than actual musicians. Like you're like, oh, like we are there to look after the young people and ask them how they're doing and like be there as therapists, but not really. But then like if you do work with musicians, you're like, it's just the same thing. Everybody wants to be asked how they're doing. Everybody wants to be told that their song is amazing, which to our young people, all your songs are amazing. but everybody wants that confidence boost. And I feel like we've just developed to be those people that will always be like, that's great. Yeah. That's amazing. You could change that, but that's great. Like, we're just the bubbly ones.
So yeah, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
Then as a mentor as well, my favorite thing has been every time our young people have done a performance. So that's like even Princess Trust when we do them from here, the takeover. I feel like you can explain to people what you do. I know specifically with my parents, like for a year I'd explain to them what I do, but they never really understood it.
Yeah.
And then I brought them to the takeover, and they were like, I get it. Like they saw MC Case play and saw me cry at the fact that he was like,
yeah. If you want to see Abbie cry on film, by the way, there's a great film from the takeover a couple of years ago that Matt House made.
Yeah, and it's just me
and it
crying.
zooms in on Abbie crying.
Yeah.
I was crying, but I wasn't caught, thankfully.
Yeah, he just zooms in on my face, and I'm there with tears dripping down my eyes. But like that first takeover, I think, because it's the first time I think we'd worked so hard to get something. And we probably didn't believe that it would all come together, because you just don't. And then seeing how these young people come to us and they tell us that nobody listens to their music or nobody gives them the confidence. So when you're there and they're performing to a crowd and all these adults who don't even know them are like showing appreciation for them, you're almost like, we've done our job. Like this young person is seeing that people appreciate what they're doing.
At that point as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's what made me cry. It was just like other people need to see this, and other people did see it and acknowledged it and thought it was amazing as we're telling them that it is every time they come to a session. So like we're like they're like, okay, other people have loved it, so they come back stronger. And I think that was a moment where I was like, it works.
You touched on a nice point about explaining what we do. Like I know everyone in the office has had a difficult time explaining
what their job is.
And I've never thought of the takeover. Like, looking back, like having family members or my friend came last year. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, they now know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, like, not to like, don't mean this in a bad way about my family, but like, you know, I'd explain what I do and they'd be like, oh yeah, cool. You teach music to young people. Cool. And then after the takeover, every family gathering, it was like, how is that young person getting on? Like, how are they doing? Or like my mum met K Kane, and then like weeks after it was like, how's K Kane? Like he said he was like doing this weekend. Is he okay? Like it's just like that thing where they can be part of your life that way, because it is.
I do really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my next question on here says, what aspect of your work have you found most rewarding? But I'm guessing that's that really.
Yeah, the takeover. But then there are like little things as well. Like I've had a young person who I've worked with probably since I started, and she is now like come to the end of being at Readipop. And I would say that is one of my biggest moments, like a little thing, but one of my biggest moments is she's changed so much since I first met her. And she actually came to a youth club the other day, and I was just like, and she was just making fun of me, and I was like, it's like you've never left. But even something like that, like she achieved an arts award while she was here. She got on to do a music course, so she's doing a music course now, which when I met her, she was just like, I don't want to do anything. She wouldn't even talk to me for the first few sessions, and now it's just like nice knowing that I've seen the development of a young person, and it's changed so much, and she's grown into a woman, and it's like, wow, like I've known you for 2 years, and now look at you, it's amazing. Like it's little things like that too, as well as the big takeover stuff. I
think like obviously we do music, but I think that is the takeaway that all of us take is you don't, well obviously you care about the music, but when you see a young person get into college or get a job or something, that's where it's like, wow, we've done something now, because you see them completely grow. Yeah, because they may not know it, but like we know that in our sessions we're talking to them about their life. We'll always start a session by saying, how's life, like how are you, before we even get onto the music. And you know, this particular young person would be like, I'm lost this week, I don't know what I'm going to do with college, or I'm thinking about this job, and we'll be there like, oh, you'll do it, like let's think about things for your interview that we could talk about. Like we are mentoring them. It's the music mentor. Like, so when they achieve that, it's such a big thing for us as well. It makes us feel good too. Right, I'm going to insert a question that you asked for right now.
Okay.
This is gonna refresh the podcast.
Okay.
What's your favourite song ever
From Readipop.
from anywhere? And then I'll ask you. We'll go into Readipop stuff.
Nah, I'll just do Readipop. My favourite song.
Or let's do your favourite one that you've released on Riser. That if someone was to go,
What song should I listen to?
yeah, if they didn't know you and you said, "Oh, I did this for Riser," what one would you show them?
Probably Loco by Kane, because it was probably the first one that I did that everybody loved, and Kane would be like, "Oh yeah, you're like the Loco girl. I'm the Loco kid, but like everybody knows that you're the producer for the Loco song." And I was like, "Wow, ooh, I am. That's cool." So that one probably for Riser, because it was a big moment where I was like, "Wow, producing, I'm doing it big."
Looking back, do you reckon you could produce Loco the same way?
Mm-mm.
Do you think it would be a completely different song now?
Yeah, I listen to it, and I mean, everything I produce, if I listen back to, it's hard. I tend not to do it because that, you know, when you're a producer, a job's never finished because there's always something you could change. Loco, because a lot of people love it the way it is, I wouldn't change anything about it. But if I was to do it again, there'd be so much production wise that I would change about it, because I've learned so many new techniques, and I'm a way better producer now than I was.
I was going to touch on the fact that like we have quite different music and we have quite different production styles, but I think I've picked up subconsciously a lot from you. I was thinking this the other day. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to do this sort of stuff if I wasn't hanging around you quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really weird.
Because I'm like, move that there.
No, but not even that. It's like, I don't know. Because obviously, like, we've sat in each other's one-to-ones, or we've got up, like, if you're not in, I've done your one-to-ones. So I've looked at your projects, or like Fridays, we're not so much in the same room anymore, but we used to just
do it together. But that's like the same for me as well. Like, you've definitely taught me to not try and get everything perfect. Like, and you know, the project that we're working on now, a big project that hopefully will get released soon, you've been producing some of the tracks and we've been going through them together, but your production style, even though it's different to mine, it's still as good in a different way. And I've learned techniques from you where you're like, no, that sounds good, even though it's not perfect. Like, it sounds good, it sounds musical. And I have a problem with just trying to make everything perfect just because of the way my brain works, but I've learned to relax that, and again from that I've just become a better producer.
There's a lot of Abbie telling me to move stuff, and there's a lot of me shouting for her to just stop,
leave it alone.
Like we'll be listening to a song and I'm like, stop moving things, I want to listen to it how it is.
Yeah, even like last week when we were mixing something and I was like, I'm just gonna like tweak a few things, and you were like, no, you bounced it, it's finished. It's done, walk away.
If you didn't give Abbie a deadline for a song, I think she'd tweak with it.
That's why I've got so many unreleased songs that I'm like, nah, like, it's not finished. You need someone
to be like, come on,
deadline, it's done. Yeah.
So yeah, we mentioned that project slightly. I think that's,
I'm trying to think if we can talk about it.
I don't know if we can, but I reckon that'll be your like lasting legacy with Readipop. That's because that's sort of like production stuff. That's everything wrapped
young
into
people,
one.
all of that. Yeah.
And I think it's going to come out at a decent time.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're getting near the end now. I know, of everything.
And I'm just going to leave. I'm going to walk out. I've got a week left here, but I'm just going to walk away.
This is now officially your last day. You summed it all up.
I'll just be in the office next week like I've been told I can do no more.
Right. So, last couple questions. Is there a cherished memory from your time at Readipop that you'll hold on to the most? Like let's say in like 30 years' time, is there like one moment where you look back and go, wow? Yeah,
I think there's a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons, and because we've spoken so much about the young people and the work, I'm just going to separate from that a little bit. Because when I started at Readipop, I was fresh out of uni, and I was living in Reading with my parents, and I didn't really know anybody because all my mates went back because of the pandemic. They all went home. So some of my favourite memories here are just getting to know everybody I've worked with. And then I say this every time, but like WOMAD, especially like the first WOMAD, I was like, this is awesome. Like, we do the best job in the world, and we're all so different, but we're all like getting to know each other and like the friendships that I've made, some of those memories I'll keep forever. Obviously all the young people stuff, work-wise, I remember all of that. But how Readipop has changed me as a person, not musically, but as a person anyway. Like, you've toughened me up. Like,
Thanks, that makes you sound great.
No. In the best way, because it's like when you're a kid and you leave uni, you are a bit naive to the world, and I was so naive to the world.
Yeah.
I was like, and then we became friends, and I remember, like, there was a time when we clashed with each other because I was like, he's so mean, but like, you're not mean. It's just like you're tough, and you've just taught me a way of being, like, a friendship that I know you'll always have my back and I'll always have your back, but then I'll tell you to, can't say it on the podcast, but you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
So like that sort of thing, like you and Eva and Louise and Amy when she was here, Yusuf at the beginning as well, Gavin, everybody, have all molded me into like an adult now. Yeah. And so that I'll take with me.
I think that you mentioned the first YMAD. I think that was quite a nice, the sun was shining. Yeah. This is 2022, so like COVID had just finished. It was great festival, first takeover, nice YMAD. But I was generally like, I keep saying I was thinking about this, like I've been contemplating quite a lot recently. But like the amount everyone has changed or developed in this office in the past, 2.5 years, however long it's been. Yeah. It's mad. Like we've all like massively grown, but positively.
You were looking at the first podcast to set up for this one, and like the difference between us is insane. Yeah. Like, I used to wear cardigans. I had to say it.
Yeah. I grew my hair out, got rid of the hair.
You just had a mustache at one point. Like, it's mad.
Right. So, this is the final question. Mm-hmm. And then I'll let you say anything else you want to say.
I'm going for lunch.
What aspects of Readipop do you think you're going to miss the most? Like, obviously, you're still going to be in touch with us and everything, but moving to Brighton, what are you going to miss the most?
I'm going to miss I think I understand the way Readipop works. I mean, this is with every job. Like, I understand how things work. I understand when I come in, what I got to do with a young person, what I got to do. I have a Readipop brain. Like, that's it. Like, Readipop becomes your life. It really does. Like, and that I have that way of thinking. So I think I'm going to miss maybe not being around the people that also understand it. Like, trying to explain the method of working or just the method of, like, life at Readipop to other people. Like, I just want to I want to talk about what crisp I am, like, or I don't know, I want to, like, just like be around my friends. I'm obviously going to miss all my friends here, but I'll come back and that will be great. But just like every day, the way of thinking, like, it's going to be completely different. I mean, I still want to work in a music charity and I still want to work with young people, so I'm hoping that that's just going to be a positive, that I'm bringing a new way of thinking to another company, whatever I do. But I'm going to miss, the people. Because, like I said before, like, you guys have almost, like, raised this part of my life. And you do treat me like a child sometimes. So it's going to be weird not having, like, my big brothers and sisters around.
So I'll still shout at you from Reading.
Well, I was saying earlier, like, Eva just still needs to message me something, like, bad about me. just to get me through. That sounds horrible. But, like, the heckling.
Like, the nice heckling.
The banter. The banter. That's the way to say it.
Has your choice in crisps changed since the crisp?
No. No, I'm still a chicken and thyme all the way.
But I hope you become. We have lovely people at Readipop that have worked with us more frequently than they do now, and they still pop into the office and say hi. Yeah, I hope you become one of those people.
I will.
I know it's a bit further than you've just changed jobs, but
I'll still pop by, and I'll still come to the festival, and I'll still come to the Hootenanny and all of that.
Cool. So, is there anything?
I'm really conscious that I've just made it seem like I get bullied here. And I'm not. No, everybody's lovely here, and they've made me a good person.
Thanks for clarifying that.
That's okay.
So, is there anything you're doing in Brighton that you want to talk about at all before we finish up, or?
Yeah, well, I'm a freelancer. I have a website. I'm a producer, composer, live sound engineer. Doing freelance stuff now. I'm doing some social media editing. I'm doing some producing. I'm doing some music mentoring. So you can find me if a young person wants to learn production or anything like that. I'm still doing everything that I do now. So yeah,
Cool.
you can find me Abbie.Hill99.
And have you got any last comments or anything you want to say?
Thank you, Readipop.
No,
I'm out.
Thank you, Abbie.
No,
It's not
thanks.
like I've loved working with you.
Me
I know
too.
we've still got a week, but yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. I don't think I'd be who I am without you. So
Me neither.
Cheers.
Stop.
Right.
Stop. Turn
So,
it
yeah.
off. Turn off. Turn off.
Thank you for listening to another Music Changing Lives podcast. I promise the next one won't be so chatty and sentimental, but yeah. Thank you. Tune in for the next one. See you later. Bye bye.
Goodbye.